Wade Wilson, the Deadpool Killer. In a world obsessed with anti-heroes, one man took the fantasy too far. Wade Wilson, no, not the Marvel character. A real man with real blood on his hands. Nicknamed by the press as the Deadpool Killer, he blurred the line between cosplay and cold-blooded murder. At first glance, he seemed like any quirky internet personality. He wore a red mask, cracked edgy jokes, and thrived on attention. But underneath that fake smile, a monster was brewing. Not the kind from comics, the kind you can't escape from once you cross paths. His victims didn't see it coming. The world didn't either. In today's video, we dive into the twisted life of Wade Wilson, the man who turned fantasy into fear and used a comic book identity to justify a horrifying killing spree. Stay with us till the end as we reveal the full chilling story of the Deadpool Killer, the making of a monster. Wade Allen Wilson was born in 1991 in Muskogee, Oklahoma. His father was in the military and rarely home. His mother worked 2 jobs and struggled with depression. Wade grew up mostly alone, a quiet boy who found escape in movies, comics, and video games. By the age of 10, he was already obsessed with anti-heroes, Punisher, Spawn, and especially Deadpool. He didn't like the clean-cut heroes. He preferred the ones who broke rules and punished bad guys. In middle school, he was bullied often. Classmates described him as odd, awkward, and sometimes creepy. He once submitted a school essay describing how he'd punish people if he had no laws to follow. Teachers were disturbed, but his parents brushed it off as just creative writing. In high school, Wade's behavior grew more erratic. He began dressing like Deadpool, quoting him in daily conversations, and lashing out at anyone who criticized him. One teacher recalled him saying, "The world's broken, so maybe I should break it more." After graduation, Wade drifted between jobs, gas stations, security, pizza delivery. None lasted long. But what did stick was the internet. He launched a YouTube channel in 2014 called Deep Unmasked, where he played an unfiltered version of Deadpool, swearing, mocking celebrities, and targeting commenters who disagreed with him. Some thought it was satire, others weren't so sure. As his followers grew, so did his ego and his darkness. Warning signs ignored. As Wade's digital presence grew, so did the concerns of those who knew him. Old friends and classmates noticed a shift. His jokes became darker, his rants more personal and venomous. By 2017, his content changed from parody to threats. He publicly targeted individuals, especially women who had rejected or criticized him, by name. One chilling rant declared, "You think I forgot what you did in high school? This world needs justice, Deadpool style." Messages escalated privately, disturbing memes, sarcastic threats, and veiled warnings that unsettled recipients. One woman blocked him after receiving a meme that read, "You're lucky I haven't snapped yet." Friends hoped it was just a sick act for views, but the intensity was frighteningly real. Then came the disappearances. Women who had crossed paths with Wade vanished without explanation. Authorities were slow to connect the dots. After all, an internet persona didn't scream killer, but the pattern was unmistakable, and suddenly the world paid attention. Victim 1. Jessica Monroe. Jessica Monroe was the kind of victim no one expects to fall prey to a killer like Wade Wilson. A 24-year-old college student and passionate artist, Jessica was gentle and thoughtful. She briefly met Wade at a fan meetup, where she had criticized his videos as too aggressive. That simple critique marked her as a target in Wade's disturbed mind. Jessica disappeared one night after leaving a party, last seen entering her car around midnight. When her phone went offline an hour later, panic set in. 2 weeks later, her body was found in a condemned warehouse near Austin. The coroner's report was grim. Strangulation marks, signs of psychological torture, and a disturbing detail. A crude smiley face drawn on her forehead with red marker. Beside her body lay a handwritten note. "Don't ghost Deadpool." At first, police suspected a copycat, but soon Wade Wilson's name surfaced repeatedly in her digital history. The chilling realization dawned. This was no accident. A digital hunter, Wade was no amateur when it came to the internet. He used burner accounts, VPNs, and private forums to plan his moves. He stalked his victims digitally, checking their social media patterns, location tags, even friends lists. He knew when they were alone. He knew when they traveled. He waited, watched, and then struck. In Sarah Klein's case, she had responded to a meme he posted, calling it pathetic humor. That small comment sealed her fate. She disappeared after attending a local Comic-Con where Wade had also been spotted. Her body was found 10 days later in an underground parking garage. Her face was covered with a Deadpool mask. Her wrists were bound with red shoelaces, his twisted version of superhero cuffs. These weren't random murders. They were messages. Every detail was a statement from Wade to the world. I control the narrative now. Cops close in. The investigation. The FBI's involvement marked a turning point in the investigation. Profiler Lisa Grant quickly identified Wade's psychological traits: narcissism, revenge obsession, and a penchant for performance-style killings designed to send messages to an audience. The digital evidence was staggering. Private chat logs filled with threats disguised as jokes, photos of victims with captions like, "Target acquired," spreadsheets cataloging potential victims under Crimes Against Deadpool, and a manifesto titled Laugh While You Can. Wade viewed himself not as a criminal, but as an avenger, punishing those who had slighted him. Police found his home plastered with comic book panels and chillingly crime scene photos of his victims, arranged like trophies. One detective described it as walking into a horror-themed Comic-Con, a disturbing blend of fandom and obsession twisted into deadly reality. The final straw in the capture, Wade's downfall came through arrogance, a fatal flaw. On a secret subreddit, he posted a blurry photo of a man in a Deadpool costume standing next to a gas pump captioned, "Even heroes need to refuel." FBI analysts used every detail: the gas prices, the lighting, a partially visible street sign, to pinpoint the location to El Paso, Texas. Local authorities acted swiftly. Less than 90 minutes later, Wade was found driving a dilapidated van with blackout curtains. Instead of fleeing, he smiled and remarked, "Guess Deadpool finally gets his origin story." His capture ended a months-long manhunt, but opened a Pandora's box of questions about how society, fandom, and digital anonymity can enable dangerous individuals. Trial and sentencing. The courtroom was a stage where Wade's theatrical tendencies played out fully. Wearing a red tie, smirking at the media, and whispering Deadpool quotes, he tried to maintain control even as the evidence stacked against him. His defense claimed delusional psychosis, that Wade genuinely believed himself to be part of a comic book narrative. The prosecution countered with proof of cold calculation and targeted vendettas against people who had hurt his fragile ego. Victims were not faceless statistics, but real people with stories, shattered lives, and grieving families. Jessica Monroe's father delivered a haunting statement. "My daughter thought he was a joke. He became the punchline of her life." After 3 weeks, the jury returned unanimous guilty verdicts on all charges. Wade Wilson was sentenced to 5 life terms without parole, condemned to live behind bars far from any red mask or audience. Aftermath. Beyond Deadpool. Wade Wilson now resides in solitary confinement in a Colorado maximum security prison. His access to internet, books, and comics has been revoked, cutting off the fantasies that fueled his crimes. His followers on social media erase their content and distance themselves, shamed by their association. But the broader impact remains. Wade's crimes sparked urgent conversations about the dark side of internet culture and digital fandoms. New policies emerged, including stricter monitoring of online threats, advanced tools for law enforcement to detect violent tendencies in digital content, and public campaigns raising awareness about parasocial relationships, the one-sided obsessions between internet personalities and their followers. Some see Wade as a tragic figure shaped by mental illness. Others blame a society addicted to shock value and online fame, rewarding harmful behavior with attention. What remains undeniable is that Wade Wilson was no hero, not even an anti-hero. He was a predator hiding behind a mask, using fantasy as a facade to commit unspeakable acts. The story of Wade Wilson, the so-called Deadpool Killer, reminds us that evil doesn't always come with a mask. Sometimes it comes with followers, punchlines, and likes. He wasn't Deadpool. He was a man who used fantasy to justify horror. What do you think? Was this all a result of mental illness, internet obsession, or pure narcissism? Let's discuss in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more deep true crime documentaries every week.